What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video, another edition of Sports Takeover. Now, today, very exciting topics to talk about. We got the upcoming NFL playoffs starting in a few days on Saturday. That's really what I want to get into today. Last video, I had my award predictions. Kind of talked about that a little bit. Today, I want to talk about the games, the wild card weekend, this Saturday and Sunday. My predictions for the games, and I want to see what you guys think. The comment question of the day is going to be, if you guys had to pick one underdog team, or I should say one road team from this weekend to make it to the Super Bowl, who do you guys think it would be? Okay? One wild card team on the road this weekend to make it all the way to the Super Bowl, who do you guys think it's going to be? All right, so let's get into the matchups here. So, start off with the NFC. We have the Philadelphia Eagles, who squeaked by and got into the playoffs after the Vikings lost this weekend. They were able to win and get in. They will be taking on the Chicago Bears in Chicago. I think, honestly, this might be potentially one of the games of the weekend. Obviously, last year, the Eagles with Nick Foles went all the way to the Super Bowl. Got it done with him. They've kind of started in that same routine that they got in last year. They were hot going into the playoffs. They managed to get in, which sometimes that's all you really need, is to be able to just to get in the playoffs and the big dance. And I really think they have a legitimate shot to go into Chicago and pull off the upset. Now, I think the key for them going into that game is going to be not turning the ball over. Chicago is fierce on defense, with Khalil Mack being the playmaker and relying on their cornerbacks and safeties to get interceptions. So I think it's going to be key for Nick Foles to be a good game manager, for everybody to hold on to the ball, not fumble it, take care of the ball. I think if they're able to not turn the ball over, they have a legitimate shot to go in there and pull off the upset win. Because Chicago, although their offense is good under Matt Nagy, I don't think they're going to win a lot of shootout games. You know what I mean? So I think that game's going to be more like 24-20, 24-17, somewhere in that range. So I think that's easily a winnable game for the Eagles. Now, when it's all said and done, I do believe that the Bears are going to get it done at home, but I do think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say on this one, it's going to be the Bears 27-21 with the win at home. The next NFC game this weekend, we got the Seahawks going into Dallas, which, in my opinion, is probably one of the more, I don't want to call any playoff game boring, but it's one of the more non-exciting games this weekend. It's not really sexy. Russell Wilson against Dak Prescott, that should be a good matchup. In my opinion, I think Jason Garrett should be on the hot seat, to be honest with you. He's not really done a whole heck of a lot in the playoffs since he's been in Dallas. This is really his year. I mean, he's starting off at home against a team who, in a lot of people's minds, has really kind of fallen off, especially on defense. So if he's not able to get it done on Saturday or this weekend, whenever they play, whatever day it is, in my opinion, they need to look in a different direction, because it's one thing to be great in the regular season, but if you can't take your team to the playoffs and get it done at some point, you need to be let go. It's kind of like Marvin Lewis in Cincinnati. He lasted 16 years without winning one single playoff game. So Jason Garrett, I believe, is in year 7 now. It's kind of on that same path. So there comes a time and point where you've got to just cut ties with people. So, keys to the game. I think both defenses are excellent. I think both running games are decent. I think obviously the Cowboys have the advantage in that category. Now, a lot of people might not agree with me on this, and I completely understand, but being able to say that you've been there, done that in the playoffs, and won a Super Bowl, and have that experience, and knowing how to win and get it done, and take care of business, especially on the road, goes a long way. And that's why I'm picking the Seahawks to win this game. they might not have the best run game, the best offense in the league, but Russell Wilson is a winner. He's a proven winner. He's been that way ever since he got into the league, and I don't see them losing to the Cowboys at home. I really don't. So that's my pick there. Now, jumping over to the AFC, we got my team, the Indianapolis Colts, going into Houston. In my opinion, it's going to be the game of the weekend. And a couple reasons. Let me tell you why. Andrew Luck is from Houston, okay? He's always played very, very good against Houston in Houston. He's always lit them up. If I'm not mistaken, he has never lost there, I believe. Now, they went into Houston 4 or 5 weeks ago, were able to take care of business. They lost by just a few points at home to Houston earlier in the year. Now, the only reason they lost is because they went for the win instead of just settling for a tie, which I completely get. At the same time, if they had, gotten the tie in that game at home against the Texans earlier in the year, they would be division champs right now, and they would be playing at home versus playing on the road. So, again, not faulting Frank Reich or anything, just kind of something interesting to throw out there to everybody. Some keys to the game here, okay? So the Colts' run D this year has been absolutely spectacular, absolutely stellar. They were able to stop Saquon Barkley, okay? They were able to stop Zeke. They were able to stop Derrick Henry last week. They've had really good success against the running game this year. So with being able to stop Lamar Miller and Deshaun Watson on his scrambles, I think it's going to be a huge key to the game and a reason why the Colts are going to come out on top in this game. And I think that's going to be my pick, is going to be the Colts, and I'm going to pick them by a couple touchdowns, honestly. I think this game is going to be more close to 34-21, something like that. Let me go back to the Dallas score. I think the Seahawks are probably going to pull that one out somewhere like 30-21. But jumping back over to the Colts, I don't think that the Texans have what it takes in the playoffs to be able to sustain what they've done in the regular season. The Colts, man, they've won 9 out of their last 10 games. They're the hottest team in the league right now. Defense is great, running game is great, O-line is great, okay? And you have those three combinations, and you put into a fact that Andrew Luck is playing at an MVP caliber way this year. I mean, I don't see a lot of teams being able to take them down, to be 100% honest with you. So, Colts are my pick in that game. The next and last wild card game this weekend, we got the Chargers going into Baltimore. The Chargers, a 12-win team this season. The Ravens, 10-6. Obviously, a lot of the talk is going to be around Lamar Jackson, his first playoff game. What's he going to be able to bring to the table? Are they going to be able to get it done? Now, something that bodes well for them is that they do have the game at home. Okay, I think, being a rookie quarterback coming into the league, something that's going to really bode well for you is being able to have a home game as a playoff game. I think that's going to be to their advantage. Now, what I don't see to their advantage is this is a very different Chargers team than it has been in years past, okay? The Chargers normally finish at 7-9, 8-8, and miss the playoffs. I don't see that happening this year, to be 100% honest with you. I see them going into Baltimore, playing really good defense, coming up with a game plan to not necessarily stop at a full capacity Lamar Jackson, but being able to contain him enough to make him become a passer, which I don't believe he's going to be a lot of teams when he becomes a passer. So I think the Chargers are going to be able to get it done going into Baltimore this week, and I'm going to give them a score of 28-17. Okay. Now, you look at some games in the divisional round. If my predictions were to pay off this weekend, we'll just look at a couple different scenarios. So let's say the Bears won this weekend and the Seahawks won this weekend. The Seahawks are a number 4 seed and the Bears are a number 3 seed. So the Bears would play, sorry, brain fart, guys, super brain fart now. The Bears would play the higher remaining seed, and the Seahawks would play the lower remaining seed. So the Seahawks would go on the road to St. Louis. Jesus. They would go on the road to LA. So you would have a tough divisional game there with the Seahawks at the Rams, and then you would have the Bears going on the road to the Saints. A couple of really good games there, guys. So obviously when you have any type of divisional game and divisional foe you're going up against, you know the team really well. You've already played them a couple times in the regular season. So I think that does play a big factor into, if Seattle goes into LA, being able to know what, kind of what they want to do in their game plan and their schemes. Ultimately, though, guys, this is a different Rams team this year. With their passing game, with Sean McVay's offense and what they've been able to do, with the pass rush, with Aaron Donald, the Seahawks do not have a very good offensive line. I think they're going to be able to get to Russell Wilson to create some havoc on him. So I think that game is probably going to be a little bit more of a blowout than a lot of people think. So if that game happens in the divisional weekend, my prediction would be Rams 38, Seahawks 21. Now, looking at the Bears going into New Orleans, in my opinion, it's going to be a little bit of the same thing. Now, the Bears were able to stop the Rams this year and hold them to 6 points, if you guys remember that. But it's a completely different ballgame when you're playing Drew Brees in that dome for some reason, man. He is hard to stop at home. I think, they probably will do a lot better job than any other team in the NFL. But I still see the Saints coming out on top on that one. So the prediction in that game, guys, is going to be 34-17. Look in the AFC divisional rounds. If my prediction pays off, the Colts would go to Kansas City, and then we would have the Chargers going to New England. Now, the Colts and Kansas City, I think, would be an absolute shootout. Now, when you get into a shootout with Patrick Mahomes, it's probably not going to turn out good for a lot of teams. But when you have a guy like Andrew Luck, a bona fide stud, an MVP candidate this year, I don't know why the Colts going to beat them, to be honest. The Colts have a way better running game. They have a better offensive line. They have a better defense by far. So I think they're going to be able to actually, keep them being one-dimensional. I think they're able to stop the run game in that game, hold their receivers to just kind of minimal gains, not huge plays, and make Patrick Mahomes really beat them with his arm. And for that reason, guys, I'm picking the Colts with the upset, baby. Boom! Who else is picking the Colts with me, guys? Probably not a lot of people. I might be a little biased because I'm a Colts fan, but at the same time, watching them all year get better and better as the weeks progress, I really, really see them going into there and getting an upset. Especially since the fact that Andy Reid is doesn't have a lot of success in the playoffs, okay? Then you look at the other game, Chargers going into New England. New England, they've really kind of squeaked by and got that second seed this year, man. I am not as confident with them this year as I have been in years past. I think Brady's age is starting to catch up with them. They don't have a lot of downfield weapons. They don't really have too much of a running game. For that reason and that reason alone, guys, I'm picking the Chargers. I think the Chargers have something to prove this year. I think that, they have a lot of talent around Phillip Rivers finally. It only took him until he was 37, 38 years old. But I think the Chargers are able to go into New England and get it done, guys. I really do. Now, championship games. Now, these are all, obviously, if my predictions pan out the way that I think they will and whatnot. Championship games. We got the Rams going into New Orleans, and then we would have the Colts going on the road to the Chargers, okay? Let's start with the Colts and Chargers. Now, the Chargers have obviously had a really good year. Melvin Gordon has been kind of a breakout star and stud for them this year. Phillip Rivers has obviously had an MVP caliber season. Everybody knows that. The Colts started out the season 1-5. Were able to win 9 out of their next 10 games. Ended 10-6 and get a playoff berth. I mean, that's really, really impressive, guys. You know, you talk about the Chargers being at home. Obviously, that's a huge advantage for them, and I understand that. But here's my thing with that game, and what I think would be the key to that game, guys. Melvin Gordon and the Chargers running game is obviously a huge part of what they do, right? They get their running game going. They're obviously able to open up the play-action passes for Phillip Rivers to throw downfield to his receivers, right? With the Colts, they are the best, probably the best in the league at being able to stop the run and stop star running backs. So if they're able to go in there, hold the Chargers to be one-dimensional like I think they will in Kansas City, and make Phillip Rivers beat them by just passing alone, why won't the Colts win, guys? Why won't they? So for that reason, guys, I'm picking the Colts. The Colts are going to the Super Bowl, guys. Mark it down, book it. Now, talking about the NFC Championship game, we got the Rams at the Saints. Obviously, this is going to be a shootout. I don't think any other scenario plays out other than a shootout here. You know, it'd be awesome if it was something like the Rams and Chiefs game was on Monday Night Football earlier this year, but I don't think it's going to be quite that good. I do see the Saints coming out firing. I see the Rams coming out firing. I think ultimately it's going to come down to who's able to run the ball better and be more balanced. You know, you can't just rely on either Jared Goff or Breeze to beat you with their arm and just, you know, throw long touchdown passes. I think whoever's able to use their running backs better, whether it's the Rams with Todd Gurley either in the passing game or the run game, or if the Saints are using Kamara and Ingram as a combination, whoever is able to do that better is going to win this game. And in my opinion, guys, I'm going to pick the Rams. I think the Rams are going to be able to go into go into New Orleans, and I think they're going to be able to get the W. I really do. So book that one. Super Bowl this year, Rams versus Colts. Probably not a lot of people are going to pick that, but that's just my opinion. Now, talk about the Super Bowl. You know, obviously you have my team and the Colts. It's going to be hard to go against them, guys. It really is. But I think this is the Rams' year. I think Sean McVay has really, you know, put on a show with them this year, and he's really kind of proved a lot to them this year. So I think they're going to be able to put up some points with the Colts. It's going to be hard for them to stop Gurley and Goff and their receivers. So I think that's definitely something to watch. You know, as much as I hate to say and hate to have the Colts lose in the Super Bowl, I think that's going to be kind of how the outcome is this year. So I can see that game being 38-31, 38-35, something like that, with the Rams coming out as Super Bowl champs this year, guys. That's, you know, hard for me to say, but I just think in my heart of hearts that's probably what's going to happen, or something similar to that this year, guys. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think is going to happen, who your guys' predictions are. I really want to know who your guys' underdog team is this year, and who you think, like I said, comment question of the day, the wild card team from this weekend, who you think is going to go all the way to the Super Bowl, if any. And I also want to know your guys' predictions for each game. How accurate do you think my picks are going to be? Let's go ahead and just call it now. Do you think I'm going to be way off? Do you think I'm going to be kind of spot on with stuff? But yeah, guys, let me know below. Second ever video. Hopefully this kind of gets out there to you guys. It'd be great if it did. And yeah, hit the like button. Smash that like button, please, guys. Show me love. If you want to see more videos like this with predictions and whatnot, hit the subscribe button. That'd be awesome. But yeah, until next time, guys, have a good day.